All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Chiro Candy Podcast. This is going to be a fantastic episode, which, my goal is to always provide you guys with quality content. But this is one of my favorite people on the other side of the world, would be Ryan Rieder. Just a fantastic guy. I don't know if if you know much about him, but I had the privilege to go to his facility in Windsor, California. It was November before last, so just a little bit over a year ago. And I walked in this place, and what he has done with this venue to host masterminds and trainings for chiropractors, it was just absolutely phenomenal. And we actually met that weekend, but we were at Oakley Court. I remember I was checking in and I was having an issue with my credit card because I was in London and my credit card company didn't know, even though I told them. That's another story. And you came up to me, you were just the nicest guy ever. But just that weekend right there really started a relationship between the two of us, and just a fantastic guy. Y'all help me welcome Dr. Ryan Rieder. So how are you?
I am awesome. Amazing to be with you today. I remember the story very well. I knew I'd like you straight away because we both have fantastic haircuts.
Absolutely.
And I knew when I saw you, I was like, there's a guy that has style.
That is a sexy guy right there.
So
look in the mirror, huh?
Awesome to be with you, and it was amazing to meet you there. We've connected. We've stayed connected since that, and now we're going to connect again in Dallas, which is awesome.
Yes, in Dallas, coming up pretty quick. Yeah. I share this story all the time now, but whenever I was there, I had two different sessions I spoke on. One was on Facebook marketing and one was on writing a book. And I remember whenever you found out that I write books, you grabbed me and you're like, come here, I need to show you something. Mm-hmm. And you brought me back to your office and you said, I want to write a book. And you kind of laid out what you're wanting to do with it and the purpose of it. And you said, just like this. And you pulled this book and it's called Your Health First. Mm-hmm. You said you grabbed it off Amazon. Mm-hmm. And I will never forget that moment because I said, you know what? We can do that because we did that book, that exact book. And when I got back, I actually emailed, I was on the phone with Dr. Smith, which is one of the co-authors of this book. And when I told him that his book was sitting on your desk, outside of London, he was tickled pink. I thought that was pretty neat. But just great stuff. So
I didn't know you helped people with those services, and I've published books in the information space helping chiropractors build their practices, but I haven't actually built and done a book in that capacity. And look, yes, we'll talk. I'm sure we're going to get into this in a moment, but I'll probably tell everyone a little bit more about me. But if you're not producing content, if you're not a published author, specifically in the expert space, which all of us are in chiropractic, then you're going to be left behind. The perception of who you, of the service you give, etc. But it automatically gets changed when you're a published author. So I love what you do, man.
All right, thank you so much. So let's talk a little bit about you.
Yeah.
I want to see if I get this correct.
Yeah.
Halsa Group has 8 offices.
8 offices.
And you guys are collecting around $7 million a year?
Yeah, so we got 8 offices collecting around $7 million every single year. Crucially, 10,000 new patients a year roughly. We've peaked at 11,000 before, but around 10,000 every single year. I always say everyone, the big thing about that story is, I'm pretty much non-operational now in the business, and we've done that through good business systems and structures, and some of the things I think that sometimes are lacking within any mom and pop industry. And we're a mom and pop industry, self-employed group. We don't learn business at university, if you will, how to run a business. So we've taken ourselves into an area. I don't know if you know this. The percentage of businesses on the planet that turn over $5 million is 1%.
Wow.
That includes multinational corporations. So including your Apples and your Googles and your Facebooks, only 1% ever will turn over more than $5 million, roughly speaking. So there are different levels to that. But I tell you, nothing helped me more to achieve that. I always say marketing will solve any problem short term.
Listen, so true.
He that can bring new patients to the front door, like, look, people say, your systems are weak. Yeah, well, listen, if you can jam 100 new patients in the front door to next week, you can pretty much solve any problem. However, short term. And then eventually, lack of attention will catch up with you. And eventually, lack of structure will catch up with you. And eventually, all those systems will catch up with you. But short-term marketing will solve just about any problem. So I'll never be who I am without being a student of the game and now teaching it and really appreciating that world.
Whenever you were giving me a tour of your headquarters there, one of the things that you recommended for me was the book Traction.
Yeah.
And I read it. So I ordered it is either as soon as you told me or as soon as I got home. And normally at the very end of the year, getting ready for the new year is when I focus on what do we need to be changing the upcoming year? What other systems or processes can we do to improve? That's always my mindset at the end of the year. What did last year look like? What can we be doing? So I normally read some type of book on scaling a business around that time. So that was perfect. And there was a lot of things we implemented. As a matter of fact, which a lot of people are just listening to this, but you can see up here framed next to the 2 Comma Club award, but that is our process.
Yeah.
From that book, it says, take whatever your process is, lay it out. And that right there helped us go to the next level. Plus a lot of other things we implemented.
I think Traction is the best how-to business book I've ever read. And when I say how-to, I'm saying like not inspirational, but it's inspirational in its own right. But I'm talking about just how to. I do want to give a shout out here to a lot of people they got inspiration from. And if you haven't read these books, you'll quickly learn in this interview that I'm a ferocious reader. And one of the Vern Harnish's books, Scaling Up, and
yes,
then
that's fantastic,
amazing. We're Mastering the Rockefeller Habits, insane again. So like those books are all, and I think actually I'm probably a little bit, if you will, been running multiple practices for 10 years, and I sometimes get a little. When because we have a bit of we're a bit obsessed with the word systems in chiropractic.
Right.
Systems, and I get it. Systems are important, but what the book will teach you, what any of those books will teach you, is look. If I ask anyone listening to this right now, are you using the same telephone script or using the same even new patient reporter finding script that you were 10 years ago? Almost everyone's going to be like, no, I'm not using the same. So then you go, well, is it really systems? Systems are important, but I promise you what's changed, what's helped my business grow more than systems, while they're important, you've got to have recipes, you've got to have scripts, you've got to have procedures, but structure, structure's been the thing that's helped us grow and continue to grow. We're growing at 30% year on year. That's it's probably $1.5 million a year on year for a while. And it wasn't with structure, and we'll maybe get into it. The next thing, structure comprises of meeting pulse, and are you doing weekly meetings? What are you talking about meetings? It comprises of quarterlies, it comprises of annual meetings, 2-day annual meetings, it comprises of your core values, it comprises of your scorecard, and all the stuff I learned from all my mentors, and we've gone deep with a lot of those mentors. But structure. We never talk about it in chiropractic. We never talk about, hey, what is your core values? What is your this? What is your this? What is your proven process like you've got behind you? So I'm so glad you brought it up.
And I read an article last night that it was written by an organization that helps churches grow.
Yes.
And it's called ARC. But the article was how to break that 500 member barrier. In reading it, one of the things he talked about is, and it's applicable to chiropractic business in general. So that's why I'm going there. And he said, from a pastor standpoint, you can preach to about 150 people, give or take.
Yeah.
But if you want to grow past that, you have to start preaching through other people. You have to have a team that's going out and doing all of that, and you step back. And he says, as your church grows, as your business grows, he goes, you will find that you are ministering to less people.
Yeah. Yes, I understand exactly what you mean. And that's what essentially, you're so right. That is very applicable actually, because we just spoke, just before we jump on the call, Billy and I were talking about one of my mentors, Dan Kennedy.
Right.
And Dan Kennedy says exact similar words, but he says, first of all, Dan recommends as required reading to marketers, the book Purpose Driven Church.
Right.
Because he's like, just the marketing principles in that. He's like, first of all, everyone should read that book. And then he also says that you will always help or serve more people by not only being the doer of the thing, but the teacher and marketer of the thing. Which is kind of, I think, where we're going to go today is like, if nothing changed my life more than speaking and teaching, definition of doctor is a teaching at the end of is a teacher at the end of the day. And then marketing, So Dan always said, still those same things. You'll always, if you want to serve a lot, if you want to serve more people, you'll always help more people by being the teacher and marketer of the thing as opposed to just the doer of the thing. So I agree.
Yeah, that's so huge. Great stuff. I love talking business.
Yeah.
And sometimes I hear people, something will happen, which you and I, before we hit record, we were talking about clients and some people being great to work with and some not being great to work with.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's just the chiropractic profession.
Yeah.
Human nature.
Yes.
It's just, there are some people that are just more difficult to be around and work with.
Yeah.
But talking business and talking business structure, the most successful chiropractic offices, the most successful chiropractors do not think of themselves as just a chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
But they think of themselves as a business owner, as a marketer, those are the ones who actually serve the most people.
Yeah, I never understand why. I agree with you. Why in the world, like business actually is a panacea. There's people way smarter than me, you, and listen, when's the last time we saw a chiropractor on the Forbes 100 rich list?
Right.
It's been a while. So I think BJ probably would have been there. But the end of the story is like the concept of it is that why in the world, if every business has a marketing department, why in the world would we not have one, or at least ask or at least pay for someone to help us with that? Or why in the world we not have an accounting department? Or why in the world we not an HR department? Or why in the world you don't even have the whole department, but you have to have people who take charge of those seats. So I just feel sometimes like we've just forgotten about these time-old, proven business seats and strategies that we think aren't applicable for us smaller businesses, but they're just as applicable. You might have to tweak them, but as I say, people way smarter than me and you have come up with these things way before us. And as we say, we get to stand on the shoulder of giants. So I don't know why we've lost this thing. Yes, you absolutely, not just a few marketing things. You need a marketing meeting. You need a marketing goals and rocks. You need strategic partners, whether it's an agency or whatever it is. But business is what helped me grow to $7 million and making sure I think like a businessman. And my business partner really helped me with this. We were gonna go into business together, and he said one line to me. He said, "Listen, if you really want to do what you say you want to do, you really want to go to 5 million plus." He's like, "You have to stop adjusting one day."
Yep.
And I was really battled with that concept for a while. And he said this line to me. It's a bad analogy and a good analogy. His name's Eamon. He said to me, "It's like the founder of McDonald's still serving burgers behind the counter." He's like, you've got higher priority things to be focusing on if you're going to scale. So back to your original point, as the preacher, you're going to be preaching through people more, speaking to less people to serve more people. And that's exactly what I've done. We've got anywhere from 40 to 50 associates at any one time.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great. And because of that, you've built this business through structure.
Yeah.
That has allowed you to now take those profits and focus on other things like real estate. I watched that video that you had shared this past week.
Yes.
About the new project you have. I forget what you would call it. It's going to be like student-led.
Yeah, student-led. So I'll tell you, I think people run businesses as if the purple patch is always going to be there. What I mean by that is, like, again, my business partner taught me this. It's like, as the tide goes in, it must also go out. And what I mean, and what I've really, really understood is that anyone, again, when was the last time we saw a chiropractor in the Forbes rich list? Long time. And anyone who's done very well financially, normally, wealth is at least a 3-lane highway. It's normally got to do with the business. 90% of people on the Forbes list they own a business. Next, and not self-employed, by the way, they own a business. A business is a profit-making enterprise that works without you. Most of us self-employed, not business owners. Next, They do have real estate. And next, they do in some way, shape, or form involved in stocks. Now, I'm not involved in stocks, but I love real estate because it's more tangible for me, and I love what I do. So it's really just a side. It's like I just out of enjoyment I do it, and then I teach docs around the world how to grow their practices and to speak and do all those things. So for me, being able to scale a business has given me opportunity to, as you say, have more of the most precious commodity in the world, which is not money, it's time. So now I can spend a bit more time because the business has good structure, leadership teams, leadership meetings, marketing department, that now I get to step back and it's by the end of March, I probably would have already been this year on a month vacation, if you will, by the end of March this year. About 2-3 weeks in South Africa and a week in Tenerife. I've just been there. I work while I'm there. I don't switch off completely. I'll choose my days, but I'm able to not be in the country because I've been able to do what I do.
Right. That's great. So you have an event coming up at the end of April in Dallas.
Yes.
And this will be your first event in the States that you're actually hosting.
Yeah, I have been, next week, I've got my Inner Circle Mastermind here at my venue. You've been there. We have 60 to 100 docs coming to that. We have guest speakers. We have people on TV. We have celebrity photos. We're going to have all that. And we're going to be teaching people how to grow their business for 2 days. And that's my high-end coaching group. But someone said to me, just kind of in a throwaway comment a while ago, like, when are you coming to do an event? Dude, please come. And specifically, it was based on the conversation. I always get asked this question. I don't know why. If I speak in entrepreneurial events, because I don't just speak in chiropractic events, I often get asked this question. If you just start all over again, what would you do? If you start all over again, what would you do? And I always answer this way because nothing has ever helped me get the quality and quantity of new patients or new customers in any business that the skill of communicating from one to many has for me.
Right.
For me, the skill set of being able to communicate from one to many and put bums in seats. So there's 3 steps to an event, which is what I'm going to be teaching in Dallas. I'm going to be teaching you exactly how to run killer dinner with the docs, how to fill the room. I mean, I just told you just before this, I'm very proud of this. I spend my own money, my own practices to learn these things and really be able to pass these things along. I've got skin in the game. And just this week, we just had 70 sign up for our last event. And we do 2-3 of those a week, plus we do corporates a week. So I'm going to be running through exactly how to fill the room for dinner with the docs. A little trick for you. We do dinner with the docs without the dinner. So we fill rooms 70 people, 60 people, 30 people, and we do that repeatedly. And the return investment is insane. We also get into businesses. We can do anywhere from 5 to 10 a week across my 8 sites. I teach people how to get into businesses, but most importantly, how to kill what they call a lunch and learn. Again, through experience, we do lunch and learns, but here's a little trick for you. We don't do them at lunch. And there's a reason I'll do that, because I'm actually going to teach it right now. I can't hold it back. It's too exciting. Okay. Think about it. In most businesses, the last thing they want to be doing at lunch is freaking sitting in an informational talk when they've been working all day. They just want to get out and go to lunch. So we actually work with the HR department to come in at 9 or 10, not lunch, within their work hours. And we have helped a lot of people double their results just with that one little tip. So it's like little tricks like that I could only have learned from being in the game, right? I'm not saying we never do a lunch and learn, we do. That's just one little tip. And then I'm going to be teaching people how to do mandatory health classes, excuse me, to really help with your retention and referrals.
One of the things I really enjoyed about the first time I heard you present was what you hit on first is something Dan Kennedy always hit on. You have to know the value of a new patient. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay, excuse me.
No problem.
I got a frog in my throat. So, yeah, I think you cannot make good business decisions if you do not know the lifetime value of a client, because it really changes everything the way you make a decision-making process. In chiropractic, we have a term that's very well known, PVA. Essentially, it's your PVA multiplied by your customer value each visit. If you solve more products, it's just the average amount that someone spends when they come to your practice. Now, once you have that skill set, once you know that, then you can drive all marketing decisions. So this is what happens. Billy, you'll be able to relate to this. Somebody will say to me, one of my coaching members will say to me, I'll say to them, how did the event go? And they'll say, it went okay. We only got 10 new patients. I'm like, that's interesting language. Why do you say only? How much did you spend? They're like, well, we spent $400. Interesting. You spent $400. How many people came to the event? Let's say the workshop in the practice. 20 people came. Great. So 10 people took up your offer. Yeah, 10 people took up the offer on the day. We got 10 new patients. Now, here's what's so powerful about knowing your lifetime value is if you spend $500 or $400 and $500, you got 10 new patients. That's already a cost per client of, without the amount on the day of, or cost per lead rather, of 50, if you will, to get them into a customer. And now to get to a customer acquisition, if they're spending $50 for the offer, you're already either break even or making money on the day.
Right.
Now, very few business strategies you can do that. Like Dan Kennedy always says, if you can break even on the front end, that's nirvana, because you got new patients for free. Now, first of all, that's the first part of the math that I don't miss. So I'm like, okay, great. So you got 10 new patients for free. And they're like, I never thought about that way. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go one step further. What's your conversion like from new patient into repeat customer and your lifetime value? I'm like, normally, let's say they sell a care plan for 1,495 or 1,995 or 1,000, or they know what the average PVA is, then they'll normally say, well, we convert about 50% into, say, a lifetime value of $2,000. And then I'll say to them, okay, great. So you realize that if your lifetime value is $2,000, you've got 5 clients at $2,000. You just made yourself 10 grand. You remember, it costs you nothing to get the customers. You just made yourself 10 grand in a 30-minute talk. How's that sound? And they're like, oh, actually, those 5 new patients doesn't sound too bad now. So it's just understanding what Dan Kennedy talks about is money math.
Right.
And you have to know your money math down all the way through the process. Now, when you know that the average lifetime value of a customer or patient is $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $10,000, now you can make completely different decisions. Because let's say your lifetime value is $10,000, and we're just talking about a certain sector where their patient lifetime value is $8,000. That's right. Insane, by the way. And if you do that, then that basically means if you spend $8,000 on a campaign and you just got two customers from your 30 leads, say, that means you've got 100% return on your investment. Now, Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos would be all of those ratios, you know. So I sometimes think we miss that. But anyway, that's what I talk about, and that's why I'm such a big believer in talks, because nothing will ever give you the quality and quantity. I don't care how good you are at marketing. We spend $100,000 marketing my practices a year. Nothing will ever give you the quality and crucially the quantity, but crucially the quality of a new customer or new patient that's speaking well, or putting them in a workshop, or putting them through that environment. Well, in my experience, nothing's ever given me the quality like that.
And think about not just whether it's a workshop, but even the tools we have today with social media.
We can only do that because of social media.
Right. But also, used to, we would run an ad in the newspaper.
Yes.
Or maybe a TV or radio. And yes, so that is a message that's going out to many, but it's a very, very broad audience. But being able to take Instagram and Facebook and being able to target women 35 to 50, because I don't know how it is in the UK, but I know here in the States, I would imagine it would be very similar. 65 to 70% of most offices,
Yes.
it's women 35 to 50, maybe a little bit older.
Yes.
And then the 30 to 35% of the men that come in are coming in because the women in the relationship said,
100%.
So, but being able to target a cold audience that's more geared toward who you're looking for, and then being able to retarget, and then take your message and do these videos and build out these you are digging ponds and telling Facebook what fish to put in each pond. And it's allowing you to build an audience of people who know who you are, who like you, who trust you. Furthermore, who know what you do, why you do it, how you do it. And we've never had that opportunity before.
No, never. And we don't talk enough about retargeting. I'm so glad you brought it up. The beautiful thing about retargeting as well is just how cheap it is. Because
Crazy.
It's crazy to think that you can now, this is the new TV, right? So Absolutely. You can be in front of someone for like pence, cents, tiny amounts of money, just by actually understanding what a pixel is, and just by understanding, how to retarget on your videos. And I was having a conversation. My mastermind's next week, and we have someone who has done some phenomenal stuff online, come to be a guest speaker, and he was talking about why small industries, professionals don't put out content. And it was interesting what we were discussing. And he said, here's the problem with putting out content, or why chiropractors don't do it enough. One is we're so used to immediate gratification, meaning even the strategy I'm going to be teaching at Dallas Bootcamp gives you immediate cash flow. I mean, you are making money straight away, which is important. So we're so used to initial conservation, report of findings, care plans, etc., immediate gratification, that the minute you ask someone to invest in a longer game, but crucially, you're going to get better quality of clients. And I was taught, so I went on my social media journey going, if I want to do everything as if I don't care about the result for 2 years, because it'll decrease my unhealthy relationship with how many likes did I get, how many follows did I get, how many shares did I get. I don't care. For 2 years, I'm not even looking at it. I'm going to put out content because I know it's the right thing to do. And he said, the reason that we don't put out enough content is because we're obsessed with immediate gratification in life, and in chiropractic. Then, not only that, but what happens in most professions, if we are petrified, not of what the public think of us, but we are petrified of what our colleagues think of us. Petrified. I can't say the amount of doctors, first thing I say, put out that video. They're like, I can say, I know what you're thinking. I know you've literally got a doctor in your mind that you know who's going to have a go at you when you put that out. And it's a sad state of affairs, first of all, but that's life. But the next thing is, not only do we not get immediate gratification, we get negative feedback before sometimes we get positive feedback and growing the business. So immediately a doc just goes, there's no ways I'm putting out regular content.
That's so true. One of the ways we handle that, so for all of our clients, we have a training that they go through that helps them get in the proper mindset to make videos. Yeah. And I tell them, okay, we talk about this because you're exactly right. That is their hesitation. What are other healthcare professionals going to say?
Deeper than that, even it's what is the doc down the road going to say? They know, and they even know, is it chiropractic such a small profession? We're tiny. I mean, how many PTs in America? I believe there's over 300,000 PTs. Chiropractors, we're 50 to 80,000, right? Depending on what somebody says to me. I think that's about what I hear. Right. In the United Kingdom, we're only 1,000 practices. 3,000 chiropractors, only 1,000 practices. So you could just about name every person by name. People know each other. And I can see it. The smaller the pond, the more petrified people are to put out content.
So one of the examples I use, I play guitar.
Yeah.
And on stage, like at church, for example, the only time I'm ever nervous is if there's other guitar players.
Yeah, got it.
Why is he doing that? Why is it? So I get it. But what we tell them is, okay, you are not making this video for your community. You're making this video for a referral. Your favorite practice member is sending in their cousin, neighbor, whatever, but they have a question about cervical issues and headaches or whatever it is. So you're going to make this video to her.
Yeah, right.
Just that, real short, just to that one person. And what happens is when you make a video like that, that content, you were thinking of one particular person, everyone who watches that feels like you're talking just to them. Whereas we had an office actually outside of Dallas. It was a younger chiropractor, and he was doing videos, but it sounded like he was on a stage presenting to everyone in the city. It was good content, but the way it was delivered, it didn't come across the way you really want it to. But that's, you're very right. People are hesitant because of those things. But if you can get past that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have to understand. Listen, I even quoted a Bible verse the other day in my Facebook thing, and it was I forget the verse now, but it was like, pity the man who has who everybody likes, because that is how the false prophets were spoken about. You can't make an impact without haters. No one wants to hear that. Like, you can't. You literally need them. It's like a feather in your cap. So it's never nice to go through. But anyway, it's a deeper conversation, and we touched on it in Dallas. We're going to touch on it in Dallas, but specifically in Dallas, we're going to run through how to market and fill the room, how to get bums in seats, because there's actually people just think if you market and fill the room and get good registrations, people are going to show up. In my experience, that's not the case. You've got to work your bum off to get people to bums in seats. And we've got a proven strategy for that. And then we're going to teach you how to deliver like a king. Listen, I've been on stage with Robert Kiyosaki, three-week tour with Robert in Europe. I've been asked to be on stage with people like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins. And I've learned through that process of being in front of thousands of people and being backstage and working with some of these guys, some of the secrets. There's a template for opening. There's a template for teaching. There's a template for closing. I'm just going to give everyone who comes the template. And then we're going to teach one thing that most people don't like to talk about, but the reality is the worst thing can happen at your workshop is that you get a big round of applause. Everyone pats you in the back and they say, "You're amazing, Doc," and they walk out the front door. You've helped no one. So it's great for our egos. So I'm going to teach you about 3 or 4 strategies that we use either in a corporate environment or in your practice, or at some of your orientation classes. So these are, again, stuff we're doing every single week, 5 to 10 times a week. And we're going to run through those strategies. So it's a 2-day event.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be there.
You're going to love it.
What I like about this event, even though I haven't been, but just the structure already, there's some great events out there, great things that you can do. But this whole event is built around one particular strategy.
Yeah.
A couple of them in there talking about lunch and learns and dinner talks and, corporate talks, but it's all about just what you said, how to get the events, fill the events, deliver during the events, and close to get people in the, to get people in your office.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the secret. Sometimes some people are very good at helping you fill the room, and some people are quite good at helping you speak, and some people are quite good at helping you close. And it's what I do all week, every week. It's what we do all week, every week in our practices. And it really helped us generate close to 10,000 new patients. That strategy alone, I mean, I could easily link back $5 million. I think I very conservatively worked it out at easily $5 million worth of turnover in the last 3 to 5 years, just from a workshop, like easily. So
you were so right. We had somebody reach out to schedule a call with us, and I don't even take very many calls anymore. Normally it's my team, but this one was a referral from a particular coach in the profession. And and we're not even working with him. He just, he does some other things, but he said, "Look, I really think you should talk to this guy." Well, so part of our process is they fill out somewhat of an application before they schedule the call. What kind of practice they have, how long they've been in practice. And he's been in practice for at the time, it was like 24 years. And he's seeing 50 people a week between 2 locations. Now, if he was doing functional medicine or something, that's one thing because their case fees are so much higher. He wasn't. Straight chiropractic. And if I would have just seen that, I would have sent an email saying, hey, look, we're not going to be a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
We're just not. There's no way he's meeting his overhead, seeing with 2 offices, seeing 50 people a week. And we're just not his answer. But because it was a referral from somebody, I went ahead, I took the call. And still I heard him out. But then I let him know that we're just not going to be a good fit because there's too many other things. And this is what I suggested he do. I said, go do some talks. There's some things that are way less expensive that are going to get you immediate returns. And his response was, yeah, I did that when I first got started.
And I bet he was probably successful when he first got started.
Right. He goes, he felt too mature.
Yeah.
Like he had outgrown that. And
it's heartbreak. I tell you, listen, this is what happens. You speak as you get off stage or as you get off a platform or as you get you finish your event, there could be 10 people in the room. Do you know what happens? People queue to speak to you.
They do.
And that's all you listen. The beautiful thing about sales is, I teach my inner circle members a great day 1, a great day 2. I'm for that. I'm for scripting, all those things. But do you know how it changes the conversation when someone's received your book, Billy, in the post, even prior to the talk? Then they come to the talk. Then they decide to choose to use your service after paying on the day. I promise you, it kind of makes a day 1 and a day 2 not completely irrelevant, but they're so qualified. They've had to jump through so many hoops. They've had to click on a Facebook ad, then fill in a form, then decide to give their most precious commodity, which is time. Then they've got your book, which positions you as an expert. And then they sit in the talk and you killed your talk and they chose to sit there for 45 minutes and then chose to pay to come and see you prior to you even asking for their custom. You have so much rapport with them that it's just a game changer.
Yeah.
In fact, you'll never want to see another new patient who hasn't been through that process. That's what happens. When people start doing that, I'll use Facebook ads, I'll use my book, I'll use direct marketing, but I'll get them first to a workshop. I have docs that often go, they've got so good at generating new patients that now they're like, I want to create more of a hoop so that I've only got, here's the biggest challenge with one-on-one sales. One-on-one sales is challenged by the fact that you have a finite amount of time for one-on-one sales.
Right.
Report of findings per week. So you have to make damn sure that those people that you've got, if you've only got 10 slots a week or 5 slots a week or whatever it is for that sales opportunity, you've got to make sure they're the highest quality lead as possible. Now, there's a time and place for your Groupons and things like that. But boy, do I not want to be wasting too much time on those when I've only got 8 slots a week.
Right. Very good. Looking forward to April. It's 25th and 26th.
25th and 26th in Dallas. We're at the Marriott Las Colinas, and there's an early bird rate at the moment. And I will promise you right now that we'll walk out of that event, and you will get more value from that event. You'll be able to change your practice the very next week. So I'm super excited to see you there and other people there. Would love to have you there.
You can go to chirocandy.com/Dallas Bootcamp. chirocandy.com/Dallas Bootcamp. That is a special affiliate link that you set up for me that does have the discounted prices, the temporary discounted prices on there. So it's going to be a great event. Would love for you guys to come.
We're about 50% full already.
Okay.
For the event, which is very, very cool. Only started marketing last week. So get your tickets as quickly as possible. It's my first event in America. Prices, we will be charging more in the future, but I first want to cross there, especially in Dallas. I'm just excited to come and serve and help people.
It's going to be fantastic. Dr. Ryan Rieder, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Hope you had fun. Hope you learned something. Hope to see you in Dallas. And if you ever want anything from me, please reach out. And you're in good hands here with Mr. Sticker. He's a good friend of mine. And I can tell you I've learned from him. Every time we meet, I've learned from him. And if you haven't got if you're not a published author yet, Billy's helped us with our practice books. And you can ask him, it's the truth. He's the guy that helped me with my practice books. So please get on that, because straight away you're going to be positioned as an authority and you have to do that. So just a little plug for you there, Billy. And I don't know if people know that, but I personally use Billy's services to help my practices grow. So please get on that.
Thank you so much.